to an issue and stuff that really sticks in my drawer. Bad dates. Roberta, why don't you tell us and the entire nation the story that you told us last night after we all swore that we would never tell anyone?
Shutdown is hitting the second month. We see no end in sight.
As a result, airports across the U.S. are facing major problems. And SNAP benefits could expire today for millions.
Please, sir, I want some more.
More?
Two federal judges ruled
Hey, ho, ha, ho!
SNAP benefits must continue during the shutdown, but the Trump administration isn't sure how they can legally do so and want the courts to clarify.
What I'm telling you is based upon the papers that I read and the fact that this woman is tenacious enough.
It is only allowed to flow if the underlying program is funded. It's called a contingency fund.
They become crazed lunatics. All they have to do is say, let's go, let's open up our country, and everything snaps back into shape.
And at LaGuardia in New York, two planes collided on the tarmac. The FAA said last night half of its core 30 facilities are experiencing staffing shortages, and nearly 80% of air traffic controllers are absent at New York area facilities.
Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th.
The illegals will leave because they're no longer being paid to come to the United States and stay here.
Life, real life, a thing that we have been denied for far too long.
But what they do is they divert the Medicaid funds and turn it into a slush fund for the states that goes well beyond emergency medical care.
How much is this? I have no earthly idea.
And New York and California would be bankrupt without the massive fraudulent federal payments that go to those states to pay for illegals, to create a massive financial incentive for illegals.
Good morning, my neighbors! Yes! Yes! Fuck you too!
Well, what are we, day 33?
Winning a political contest here. Real people are losing. The American people are hurting. Democrats have voted 14 times now, Shannon, to keep the government closed. 14 times they had the opportunity to have SNAP benefits flow, to let air traffic controllers be paid, to take care of all these problems and pay the troops, and they said no.
Are you through? No, I'm doing society a favor. So?
And it is a fact that no one can dispute that they shut the government down over restoring free health care to illegal aliens as part of their $1.5 trillion wild partisan wish list.
And if we're going to keep having this dysfunctional government situation or congressional situation year after year, I mean, they're still collecting my taxes. Why are they collecting my taxes? For what? And what's the important work that Mike Johnson is doing right now and the Republicans are doing right now?
Absolutely absurd. They are accusing the Republicans and the president of doing exactly what they are doing. Remember, don't get lost in the facts. Republicans have voted 14 times to open the government. Democrats have voted 14 times to close it. Who's playing games here?
We're all very different people. We're not Watusi. We're not Spartans. We're Americans with a capital A, huh?
We have a clean, simple CR, a continuing resolution, no partisan gimmicks, tricks at all. It's 24 pages in length. It would keep everything going.
I mean, you guys do nothing but complain about how you can't stand it in this place here, and then you haven't got the guts just to walk out.
Remember
the 5th of November.
The Democrats are the ones that created the system that is failing us. They created Obamacare. They said it was going to bring down costs. It's done exactly the opposite. Premiums, by some estimates, are up 60% since Obamacare was created in 2010.
Yeah, I already have a complaint about Obamacare. My iPhone 5S broke, and I took it to the Genius Bar, and they would not fix it.
But the Epstein thing is a complete red herring. It's a distraction from what's going on right now and them causing harm to the American people with the shutdown. The Epstein estate documents are out. The Epstein files are out. 43,000 pages so far, more on the way. Day 34. It's now officially the second longest shutdown in U.S. history.
Nice going, boys. You're playing yesterday's tape.
Republicans are shutting down the government. It makes no sense. It's the most extreme example of gaslighting in the history of American politics. And many in the media have allowed them to get away with that.
True.
The fact is very simple. Republicans are refusing to accept the Democrats' outrageous demand.
67 copies of Moby Dick.
The movie or the book?
You made a book out of that?
I think so.
Yeah, get the book.
Number 1, airplay, and that's underlined twice. Number 2, a football helmet filled with cottage cheese. Number 3, a Zon walnut base with a graphite neck.
$1.5 trillion of your taxpayer funds, included in that, is nearly $200 billion of taxpayer funds that they want to use to restore free health benefits to illegal aliens.
$1 billion-ish that are in the fund could fund SNAP for a couple of more weeks. The administration has said repeatedly they did not believe they had the legal authority to do so, even though they didn't care about doing it for the military, right?
This bitch is stupid. Ugh.
I don't know anything about that. I didn't see the interview. You have to ask the president about that. I'm not sure.
Paid me a lot of money, and you don't have to put this on because I don't want to embarrass you, and I'm sure you're not. I think you have a great new leader, frankly, because the young woman that's leading your whole enterprise is a great, from what I know, I don't know her, but I hear she's a great person. But 60 Minutes was forced to pay me a lot of money because they took her answer out that was so bad, it was election changing 2 nights before the election, and they put a new answer in.
America's jobs and growth are at stake.
I did apologize to the president. President was offended by the act, or by the ad rather, and it's not something I would have done, which is to put in place that advertisement, and so I apologize to him.
This is now day 35 of the Democrat shutdown, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think any of us expected that it would drag on this long. We didn't believe, we couldn't have imagined. It's now tied for the longest shutdown in U.S. history, and we didn't think we'd have to come in here every single day, day after day after day, and repeat the obvious facts to the American people.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Over the past 34 days of this shutdown, the Republicans have been the only ones working in good faith to end the shutdown and get everyone paid and get the services flowing again. And we have voted that way 14 times. That's on one side of the screen. On the other is the Democrats. And it's such a stark contrast. Because in the last 10 months, the only thing that party has accomplished for the country is to shut down the federal government.
Well, if you watch Donald Trump this weekend on 60 Minutes.
All we're doing is we keep voting. I mean, the Republicans are voting almost unanimously to end it, and the Democrats keep voting against ending it. You know, they've never had this. This has happened like 18 times before. The Democrats always voted for an extension, always saying, give us an extension, we'll work it out. They've lost their way. They've become crazed lunatics.
Tell Schumer, who is under tremendous political pressure from within his own party, the radical left lunatics, to go to hell.
Democrats are not interested in doing their most basic job. And we explained here yesterday, all of this is motivated by one thing and one thing alone. The Schumer shutdown was never about health care or any other policy that they claim now. They can't even decide amongst themselves what it was about. Some have said it's the Seinfeld shutdown because it's about nothing.
Nothing. What does that mean? The show is about nothing.
But I'll tell you what it is ultimately about, truly, and this is something that can be demonstrated and everyone here knows it's true.
No, nothing happens.
As I summarized yesterday, the Schumer shutdown was never about health care or any other policy. It is about fear. It's about fear.
So when did the nut take over the nut house?
They scream and they cry. Right now, the Democrats fear political retribution from the far left activists in their party more than they fear the consequences of keeping the government closed for weeks on end.
The Democrats' obstructionism will break the record for the longest government shutdown in American history tonight. The Democrats are intentionally hurting American families, workers, and businesses with this shutdown to fight for free health care for illegal aliens and to appease their radical left-wing base.
You think it's possible we could reopen the government this week then?
Yes, I think we'll be open by once we vote on it. The House has 48 hours.
We're now on day 36, and it is a sad landmark in our history. This is the longest shutdown of any government in our history.
Look around, man. All the cops are into something. It's Christmas. You could steal City Hall.
But the biggest thing is the filibuster. We have to get the country going. We will pass legislation at levels you've never seen before, and it'll be impossible to beat us. By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster. And when they do the filibuster, they're going to pack the court.
The leadership of the Democratic Party is the most unpopular with members of their own Democratic base. And we saw that in the elections last night. The old guard is desperately trying to use this shutdown to show the radical Marxist wing of their party that they can look tough to President Trump. That's because the new power center of the left isn't the moderates, it's the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders.
Mamdani didn't just have to defeat a Republican, he had to defeat the old guard of
Yes.
the Democratic Party. So a follow-up, is she talking about Schumer? He didn't endorse Mamdani.
Look, here is what, and I want you all to appreciate this. This guy started his campaign at 1% in the polls. I called it one of the great political upsets in the modern history of America, and I think that's really quite true. So who did he take on?
I don't recall him ever praising
There's
Hamas.
there's several videos, even during his days of being a rap artist, of praising Hamas and other terrorist groups. And so a little research, you'll be able to find it.
Run this whole city like a Ramiyati. Stay setting people up, MC at the shawty. If you see me in the streets, don't be asking
It's the activists who believe capitalism is evil, who disdain the founding principles of their own country. They claim that the salvation of our nation will be brought about by bigger government and more bureaucracy. Look what happened in New York City last night.
The people of New York came together and we said, you don't threaten New York, and we're going to step up and we're going to make sure that we get baby boxes to every parent, and we're going to try to make healthcare more affordable, and we're going to bring down the cost of groceries, and we're...
Well, don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're fucked up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
For the first time in American history, an avowed, openly proclaimed socialist has been elected as the mayor of America's largest city.
In this new age we make for ourselves, we will refuse to allow those who traffic in division and hate to pit us against one another.
Remember, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
And if you're keeping count, this is day 37. 37. It seems unbelievable to us that we've gone this long. It is officially and shamefully the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Republicans feel very helpless about the situation because, as we've noted, there is really nothing for us to negotiate. We sent them a clean CR, as you know, back in September 19th. We passed it out of the House. It feels like a lifetime ago.
A CR in government funding speak is a continuing resolution, a temporary fix to keep the government funded for a specific period of time. Similar to other legislation, a CR still needs to pass both chambers of Congress and be signed by the president.
But that was a nonpartisan measure. It was 24 pages in length. It has no Republican priorities on it at all. It was merely the status quo to keep the lights on so that the members of Congress and the Republican and Democrat Party could work together to finish the government funding appropriations process. And the Democrats tried to turn that into a game.
I quit playing board games 5 years ago. Sarah.
There were no surprises on Tuesday night, okay? You had blue states and blue cities that voted blue, to the alarm of no one, to the surprise of no one. That was what was expected. It just so happened that New York and New Jersey and Virginia were the states that were in the national spotlight on Tuesday. If the tables had been turned and if the calendar had been different and you had 3 red states, we'd have an entirely different narrative that you all would be writing about.
Ellen, look. At night they fly. You better run. These winged things are not much fun.
Don't lose the simple facts. Second, the big headline that everyone is writing about appropriately is that the future of the Democrats was set in New York City. A 34-year-old Marxist is now the leader of the Democratic Party, and it is a very dangerous road for them to go down.
Put it away, Ellen. Okay.
I want to say this because a lot's been said about the Mamdani campaign. It is very easy to run and win as a socialist, right? All you do is promise everything to everyone for free. What a great message that is. Boy, that really resonates for people who don't study history. And while you're making all those promises, you hope that they never realize the trap that you're actually setting.
In the jungle, you must wait until the dice read 5 or 8. In the jungle, you must wait. What's that mean?
The impossibility of fulfilling your fantastical claims and dreams, and the extreme danger and chaos that would result if you ever could.
Day 38 of the government shutdown. The Senate is expected to vote today to reopen.
Hold it. What are you doing, man? Is this some kind of joke? No talking. No, he made a mistake.
This vote will be a bit different. Senate Republicans plan to add some long-term funding bills and extend funding past November 21st. Senate Republicans are hoping this plan to reopen the government and vote on extending health care subsidies later will get moderate Democrats to vote in their favor.
It did not reach the 60 vote threshold needed to advance that. The vote ended with a 53 voting in favor and 43 voting against it. 3 Democrats did vote for this bill, it's important to note. Senators John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock of Georgia, both senators from Georgia, as well as Senator Bay Lujan of New Mexico.
Back in 2013, President Obama had Congress pass what's called the No Budget, No Pay Act of 2013. President Obama's bill said, look, Congress is about to go into a shutdown. Fine, have at it. Knock yourselves out. Go into a shutdown. But if you don't come out of that shutdown by this particular date, you're not going to get paid.
Yesterday, a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits by today.
For all participants, transactions will be more secure because there are fewer steps in the process and less paper to be lost, stolen, or tampered with. We will also have better information on the where and when of transactions so we can help target enforcement actions. You know, one of the great myths about paperwork, like this stack of paperwork here, is that it helps to cut down on waste, fraud, and abuse.
Obamacare was going to lower health care costs by $2,500. That was the promise. It's up 221%. These now subsidies that were put in place temporarily by the Democrats during COVID are set to expire. They were never meant to be permanent. Bow down for you, hit the ground for you, make a sound for you.
Shutdown could end comes tonight. The Senate votes this evening to break a filibuster.
Senate needs 60 votes to pass a bill.
You need 60 votes.
But in the Senate, you've got this rule where you got to get, these days, 60 votes.
To deal with 60 votes.
I would like to get rid of filibuster.
You need 60 votes?
We need 60 votes. We need 60 votes. We have to end the filibuster. We need 60 votes. You need 60 votes.
You've got to have 60 votes.
It's time to end the filibuster.
But Democrats failed to get an agreement on money to offset rising health care costs.
Mr. President, again, I am optimistic that after almost 6 weeks of this shutdown, will finally be able to end it.
Democrats are offering a very simple compromise.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds like a really good deal.
Time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it.
You disappoint me.
And it'll be impossible to beat us. By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster. And when they do the filibuster, they're going to pack the court.
Can't scare me with this Gestapo crap. I know my rights.
Trump didn't create this. Obama did. And Biden extended it, but only until after the election. And now they're gridlocked. They're not fighting for you. The Democrats are fighting for their next campaign donation check from United Healthcare, Pfizer, and Blue Cross.
I want my phone call. What good is a phone call if you're unable to speak?
Oh, it's coming on. It's coming on. You know, everyone expected just a piece of fluff, but we wanted to do something important, something that the youth of America could relate to. You know, issue stuff.
Appears to be the beginning of the end of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, as shameful as that is.
Are you talking to me?
Have you no shame?
I don't think it's coincidental, you know how I think, but it's after 40 days of wandering in the wilderness and making the American people suffer needlessly, some Senate Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain.
Oh, you think you are judgy, son, but I am, you know, just trying to get to work.
It appears to us this morning that our long national nightmare is finally coming to an end, and we're grateful for that. At least some Democrats now finally appear ready to do what Republicans and President Trump and millions of hardworking American people have been asking them to do for weeks.
Are you for serious?
I am for serious.
But as we said from the beginning, the people's government cannot be held hostage to further anyone's political agenda. That was never right. And shutting down the government never produces anything. It never has, if you study history.
You might want to think about another line of work, because you ain't no good at this.
Republicans have not just been talking about reducing costs and fraud and abuse in so many areas and in healthcare. We've been actually passing new laws to accomplish that urgent mission for the people, and we will continue to do so.
Cleared its very first hurdle, so a vote late last night in the Senate advanced a tentative framework to reopen the government. Of course,
this vote, the yeas are 60 and the nays are 40.
The Senate's vote late last night of 60 to 40 opens the door now. The Senate is moving forward on an amended House CR, a continuing resolution, that will reopen the government until January 30th.
Wait a minute, what's all that small print there at the bottom? Oh, if you have any problems, dial information. Thank you for calling.
Added to that are provisions to fully fund SNAP provisions through the end of the next fiscal year, which is September 2026, guaranteed back pay for all federal workers who have been made to endure these hardships over the last several weeks.
Come on! Patience, patience, little dear. Everything has to be in order.
And it also includes passage of 3 appropriations bills, which we're grateful to be moving through the process. That is the Military Construction Veterans Affairs bill, it's the Agriculture bill, and the Legislative Branch bill. The Senate will be back in session this morning to finish their job, and we're certainly praying that they do.
Well, I know there's a door here someplace.
They'll need unanimous consent from all senators to fast-track their final vote. As you know, there's some procedural hurdles that one or more could throw in the way, but we certainly hope that they won't do that because so many people across this country are desperate for the government to reopen.
Here we are.
Oh, don't be a darn fool, Walker. That's the way we came in.
It is. Are you sure?
We've just come through there.
How do you like that?
What is this, Wonka? Some kind of fun house?
Why, having fun?
Spoke to Senator Bernie Sanders, who called the shift a disaster.
Do you think he should be replaced?
By whom? Well, that's the point.
What I'm saying, it's like, as a committed Democrat, it's wrong to shut our government down. We were very critical of the Republicans to do it appropriately.
Then there's all this energy. In the wake of the election on Tuesday, the president made remarks saying basically, wow, Republicans are being harmed by all of this, acknowledging that he was on his back foot.
No, you're turning the president into one if he can spend without appropriation.
Well, now, if you got a rainy day fund, it was appropriated at one time. The fund didn't come out of the air. The money is sitting there. Now, they didn't appropriate it yesterday or the day before, but the money was appropriated last year sometime, and the rainy day fund was there.
An unelected judge probably does not have the authority to tell the executive branch what to do.
Different branches of government. This is my question. They can and they did.
And SNAPs can work without. Do you believe as a member of Congress, a judge can compel the executive to spend money that you haven't appropriated?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
But we're not down with their my way or the highway approach to governance. That's failed the American people.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. And may God have mercy on your soul.
In other news, the Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43 days, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But tonight, thanks to Republicans, the White House is very hopeful that this shutdown is going to come to an end.
It's quite easy for me to be perfectly comfortable with the President of the United States, who's presiding over a broad coalition that does have disparate views. The previous administration, you couldn't sit here and tell me who the hell was in charge. I know who's in charge of this administration.
You're right, and I'm not going to defend it. The damage caused by the Democrats with this reckless government shutdown cannot be forgotten. It is entirely the fault of the Democrat Party. Just look at the vote count.
And so does this bill provide funding for SNAP?
Yes, it does.
Did the bill that we voted on September 19th provide funding for SNAP?
Yes, it did.
Yes. So if we had voted way back in September 19th, we would have taken care of that.
Why have the Democrats put the American people through this pain for 43 days in a row? And it feels like Groundhog Day being up here again talking about this Democrat shutdown.
Do you ever have deja vu, Mrs. Lancaster?
I don't think so, but I could check with the kitchen.
The Democrats are totally captured by their far left-wing base. And their unwillingness to buck the fringe members of their party dragged this harmful shutdown on for 7 weeks.
What would you do if you were stuck in one place and every day was exactly the same and nothing that you did mattered?
Now, that sums it up for me.
Why give in now? Why bring a butter knife to a gunfight? Are you willing to gamble that the GOP will negotiate on health care in good faith once the government reopens? Because if that gamble is wrong, 500,000 Pennsylvanians that you represent, their health care costs will skyrocket if you are wrong.
Is this bitch for real?
And I don't need a lecture. I don't need a lecture from.
Boom, roasted.
And I would like to, rather than cite MTG, I'm going to cite one of the new governor-elects saying that my election is not a green light to continue the shutdown, because I promise you, this isn't a political game.
The notion that the same Democrats who just shut down the federal government to sabotage our economy, rob people of their paychecks, and also helped Joe Biden ratchet up inflation to 9%, are now suddenly affordability champions. That notion is completely absurd.
He's got to be stopped.
That's not bad for a quadruped. You got to check your mirrors, just side of your eye. Side of your eye.
The Democrats openly admitted, many of them said it in their own words, that they use the American people as leverage in this political game. They knew that it would cause that pain to the people, and they did it anyway.
What did you do?
I hope we can all agree that the government should never be shut down again.
And now, onto an issue and stuff that really sticks in my drawer.
End the filibuster. Terminate the filibuster. It'll never happen again.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you have questions. I think.
I can't believe they ruined, then canceled my show.
Now, Pumpkin, they just used research and testing to mold the show into something they felt really related to the teens.